Hey guys, what is going on? Jurgen from ZurGrinoSports here, and today I'm coming at you with the January 8th Smackdown review. Before we get into this, shameless plug time. If you want to support me in the channel, you can do so by heading over to Patreon. First link in the description. Also, at the end of the video, if you liked what I was saying, if you like this review, be sure to like the video and subscribe and stuff. Don't do it yet because I ain't done much yet. But if by the end you're fucking with what I'm putting down, hit up that subscribe button, hit up that like button. Let me know what you think of Smackdown down in the comments, all that stuff. But without further ado, let's get into the Smackdown review of what I thought was a pretty good episode of Smackdown. Since I've been watching wrestling again in around October, I started watching again about exactly a year after I stopped. Smackdown's been consistently decent to good to great, you know what I mean? So it's been a really, really nice time. Raw has been more of a roller coaster with some ups and downs and all that stuff. We started off Smackdown with a Roman promo where he talks about what him and Jay did to Kevin Owens last week, saying, he likes Kevin Owens. He respects him, even though he's a pain in his ass. He likes him. He didn't want to hurt him, but Kevin Owens put him in a spot. He backed him up against the wall to where he had to retaliate. So Kevin Owens made him do what he did. He didn't want to, but he had to. And you know what? He loves the whole locker room. That's what being the top guy, requires. That's what carrying the company requires. You need to care about everybody. You need to love everybody in the locker room. He's putting food on everyone's table, but Kevin Owens doesn't have that opportunity to put food on his family's table now because he obviously he got attacked last week. He went through the table, that whole spot. And he says that people are blaming Roman for it, saying he's the bad guy, but he's not the bad guy. He's not the one who's to blame. The one who's to blame is Adam Pearce. Then he calls out Pearce. There's a little bit where Pearce isn't coming out, and Paul Heyman is talking to a production guy at ringside saying, like, hey, get him out here. Roman's calling for him. Get his ass out here, kind of thing. Then Adam Pearce comes in, he's like, okay, what do you want me in here for, kind of thing, and Roman kind of runs him down for making bad decisions. He says, of all people, when your friend asks you for something, of all people, you'd think that you'd want to protect him, you wouldn't want to put him in harm's way, kind of thing. He criticizes him for making those bad decisions, and then he criticizes him for making the gauntlet match, saying, oh, you think I can't pick my own opponent after everything I've done for this company, after carrying this company on my back for years? You think I can't make my own decisions, my own challenger? And Adam Pearce says, look, I'm just trying to get the best challenger possible for you. That's what the gauntlet match is meant to do. And then Roman goes on to this being like, hey, you know what it sounds like? It sounds like you think I'm stupid. And then Adam's like, no, that's not what I think. Roman's like, oh, so you're stupid. Is Adam Pearce stupid? And Adam Pearce is like, no, what's this all about? And he's like, oh, so if I'm not stupid and you're not stupid, Vince McMahon's stupid. You're going to say on TV, live on TV, Vince McMahon's stupid? He's like, no. And then he's like, Paul, what's all this about? And then Roman's so like, okay, so you're not stupid, Vince isn't stupid, so it sounds a lot to me like you think I'm stupid. And if you think I'm stupid, you don't respect me. If you don't respect me, you don't respect my family, my bloodline, and there's consequences. Then he kind of grabs him by the shirt collar kind of thing. Paul Heyman calms him down a little bit. He's like, you know what? For right now, you're safe. And then that's the end of that. So that was a good promo to start off the show. Roman just is killing it week after week after week in this role that he's playing right now, which again, I think I said it last week, begs to bring on the question, why was Vince not doing this with Roman the whole goddamn time? You know what I mean? Or a variation of this. Maybe, to play devil's advocate, maybe the fact that he tried to push him as a face and it didn't work and it fell flat, maybe that makes this that much better. But regardless, it should have been this the whole time with Roman. So again, it just begs the question, why was Vince trying to do the white meat babyface fairy tale kind of character when Roman is just so well suited to a character like this. So great promo from Roman to start off the show for me. Then we move on to Biggie versus Apollo Crews for the Intercontinental Championship. And Apollo came out the gate really fucking hot. High intensity. He had a big false finish at the beginning of the match, and Graves did a good job on commentary of putting it over, saying like we might already have a new champion. He really wants the championship. He's coming out the gate hot. Apollo did a triple German super baby to Big E, which I popped for. And then they had a superplex into a pinfall. Apollo gets up, acts like he's winning. Big E's like, nah. We go to commercial. We come back. It's declared a draw because both men's shoulders were on the mat. Big E puts out his fist for a fist bump for respect. Apollo's like, no, I don't want that. I'm not doing that. I want that. Slaps Big E. He's like, give me that now. Big E pushes him, puts the title back to the ref. He's like, restart the match. So technically we had two IC title matches, but it's technically the same match kind of thing. Technically it is two matches, but I just have it kind of counting as the same match. Then after getting slapped in the face, Big E is he's revved up. He goes on some big offense. The finish was pretty cool. We had Apollo going for his spin out power bomb. Big E got down, did like a headlock kind of takedown from it. Got sent into the corner. Apollo rushes him in the corner. He does the Samoa Joe, the Uranagi out of the corner, and then up for the big ending. Boom, 1, 2, 3. Big E retains the championship. I really like this match. It made the title feel important because of how passionate and determined Apollo Crews was to win the match, to win the championship. It made the title feel important. Big E being resilient to defend it felt important. So they made Apollo look good. They made the title look good. They made Big E look good. I did think Big E looked a little bit tired by the end of the match. I don't know if maybe he's still kind of... because like tag team wrestling and singles wrestling is a lot different, right? Tag team wrestling, you can tag out, you can take a breather. With singles wrestling, you're just in, except for rest spots and times where both men are down kind of thing, and you're just selling a move. So maybe he's still kind of transitioning to that a bit, because for the ending sequence, he seemed a little bit tired to me, but obviously that's not a big deal. Big E's great. Apollo in the ring, as we've known for a long time, is fantastic. He just needs that character to solidify him as an important part of the show. And so that was a good Intercontinental title match. Like I said, I think it put the title over. I think Apollo looked really good. I think Big E looked good. So all parties came out of that better. So I think that was a really good match. And I'm happy that they're doing something with Apollo. Because the fact that Apollo has been the I'm happy to be here guy for so long is just a shame, because he's so talented in that ring. So I don't know, maybe they need to get a mouthpiece on him, maybe move him over to Raw and join him up with the Hurt Business, maybe move Lashley up into the main event title, and then have Apollo take over the mid-card title in the Hurt Business kind of thing, if they want to do that, which I don't know if they would want to do that, but that's a possibility. Granted, he feuded with the Hurt Business the whole summer, right? So maybe people don't want to see him associated with the Hurt Business, because I'm pretty sure in the summer WWE did the thing where it was the same match every week, and that was their whole booking scheme. Which, fair enough, COVID, you're kind of limited, but whatever. Then we had a backstage segment with Adam Pearce on the phone. Sonia Deville shows up, and I guess we learned that Sonia Deville is being brought back, at least for now, in a management position where she'll be maybe Adam Rose's assistant, or maybe, given what's happening later on, which we'll get to, maybe she's there to replace Adam Rose. Adam Rose? Excuse me? Rosebuds? Yo, what? Leo Kruger? That would have been cool if they did a Leo Kruger and Bray Wyatt program when both of them had momentum behind them. But anyways, Sonia Deville, I don't know why I said, Adam Pearce, I don't know why I said Adam Rose. Maybe she's there maybe the whole thing is going to be she's going to replace Adam Pearce as that, on-screen authority figure, which we'll get to in a little bit, what happens with Adam Pearce. Sonia Deville's suit, it was a blue suit with a black dress shirt underneath, fucking clean. That was fucking bruh. That suit was awesome. So they had Sonya say like I'm not bitter, I'm not resentful that my tag team partner and best friend ditched me for some dude and now she's in another tag team on another roster. That don't matter to me, bro. That's all. I'll pass that, brother. I'm here to be management. I'm here to learn from you. Blah 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 blah. So Sonya's going to be in a management position for the time being. I'm sure they'll transition her back into the ring eventually, but. They'll probably just put her in the management position for now to slowly transition her back in. And they teased again Adam Pearce because earlier in the Roman opening segment, I forgot to mention, Roman said, "Oh, are you going to put yourself in the gauntlet match kind of thing?" And Adam Pearce was like, "No, that's a conflict of interest." Then we had Sonya saying, "Oh, so you're going to wrestle tonight?" And he's like, no, bro, I haven't wrestled in 6 years. I'm going to get killed out there. No chance. So they teased him being in the match again for the second time that tonight. Then we had a Bianca Belair backstage interview that was immediately interrupted before Bianca could speak by Bayley. Where Bayley interrupts her and she asks how many people she eliminated in the Rumble last year, which Bianca responded with 8, and she's like, "Oh, wow, that's great. You didn't eliminate me." And Bianca's like, "Yeah, you weren't in the match, bruh." And she's like, "Yeah, because I was extending my historic title reign." You know what I'm saying? But she says that this year she'll be in the match. So this year, she won't do anything. She'll win the blah, blah, blah. Bayley says that she will squander the Royal Rumble or something like that. And then Bianca responded with, "Well, speaking, I would have loved to, win the Rumble and challenge you for the title, but you're not champion anymore. It looks like you squandered that." And then that was the end of the segment. So they're still advancing the Bianca and Bayley feud. I think I've said it before on the channel. Bayley, I'm not really sold on Bayley from a character's perspective, heel or face. I think the whole Karen gimmick is better than the whole superfan gimmick that she had as a face with the inflatable tube men and the bright colors and, hey, I'm a fan who's a wrestler, you know what I mean? I think the Karen gimmick that she has going on, which is what I'll call it because I don't know how else to explain it, I think it's better than the superfan gimmick that she had. I just still am not completely sold on it. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just like her speech patterns and mannerisms and stuff like that just don't really connect with me from a promo segment. I don't know what it is, but in the ring she's fantastic. So keep her in those top spots. She'll have great matches with just about anybody on that roster because she's a great wrestler. So and this is a good feud for Bianca if they do it right, because Bianca can get win a big rivalry over a big opponent, and that elevates her. Maybe she wins the Women's Rumble and that elevates her. You know what I mean? Because Bianca Belair has a huge future in this business if they give her the ball to run with, you know what I mean? And give her that support and give her that backing. Then we had the Profits versus the Dirty Dogs, Rude and Ziggler, for the tag team titles. Obviously, last week they had the beatdown and Montez had his leg worked in, so they were talking about that during the entrances. They're like, is his leg going to hold up? One thing that has nothing to do with the wrestling or the promos or anything, Montez Ford was wearing bright red shoes with a dark green attire, and it just pissed me off. It was such a clash, and I was just like, why? Just wear like dark shoes, like a dark red even, or like black shoes. I'm pretty sure Dawkins was wearing some black shoes. They kind of looked, I didn't get a good look at them, but they might have been Jordan 7s. I don't really know. But he was wearing like black shoes with some, I think it was like a yellow accent or something. Profits made their entrance first, which I really don't like. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you'll know I hate when the champions come out first. Champions build first, come out last. That's how it should always be, whatever. Then we go to commercial after the Profits entrance. Then when we come back from commercial, we have a Carmelo backstage promo, and I don't like that WWE do this. This is one of the things I really dislike about the production of WWE TV, is they'll have somebody make an entrance for a match, then they'll cut backstage and have a promo of an unrelated person or people or whatever, and then they'll come back with the person in the ring just kind of chilling there, just like, oh yeah, I'm waiting for my person for 10 minutes because the commercial was 5 minutes and the promo was 5 minutes. It just doesn't flow naturally. So I would like it if they repositioned where some of the promos were, because I really dislike when somebody makes their entrance for the match, we come back, and the first thing we see is a promo, then we go back to the ring of somebody waiting in the ring with their music playing, then the other person's music plays. It doesn't flow well for me. But that's more of a minor issue. We had a Kamala backstage promo. Sports Illustrated made Sasha the #1 wrestler of the year of 2020. So Carmella, she started the promo off by drinking some champagne or something, saying, "Oh, that's sweet, just like my win over Sasha last week." Then she said she respects Sasha's hustle, best wrestler in 2020, which, just coincidentally happened to happen when Carmella took a vacation, just a coincidence. But she respects her hustle because, just for some people it comes more naturally. She's still building on the whole Sasha wanted to be a wrestler and she dedicated her whole life to it. Carmella was just kind of like, yeah, I'll try it out, and then succeeded at it kind of thing. So they're still going with that as the kind of underlying thing that pushes the rivalry, I guess, from Carmella's point of view. And then Carmella, I think she said she was more talented than Sasha or something, and then that was the end of the promo. And then the hashtag Dirty Dogs came down to the ring. So a lot of people dislike the Dirty Dogs as a tag team name. I kind of like it because you're not supposed to like it. They're heels who are trying to put themselves over, so they're like, oh yeah, we're a couple of dirty dogs. You're not supposed to like what the heels call themselves. So the fact that you don't like it means it's a good name, because you're not meant to like their name. If the heels name themselves, you're not supposed to like what they name themselves. You know what I mean? Like if an arrogant heel calls himself like the Chosen One or something, just to use Drew's old name, right? If you call yourself that as a heel, people are going to boo you for calling yourself that. Right? So like you want people not to like the nickname you give yourself. So I think it's fine. Plus it's kind of funny. I find it a little bit funny, especially because they spell it DAWG. So it's just, I find it funny. So I don't mind it. There was part of the match that I really didn't like, and I don't know if it's a personal thing or if you guys share the same opinion, but it's about the inconsistent selling of injuries in wrestling these days. They were working over Montez's leg, and he was kind of selling it, hobbling around a bit. Then he threw both Ziggler and Rude out of the ring, and then all of a sudden he fucking sprints to the ropes, shoots off the ropes, sprints back, topes over, hits them, no problem, and then he gets up and then his knee gives out and he collapses. So you're telling me that when you sprinted full speed to the ropes and back and then launched yourself over the ropes with enough momentum to front flip into the tope, a tope is the front flip, right? Yeah? Or is tope just over? I don't know. But he did, I think it's called a tope. I hope it's called a tope. He does like the front flip over, like the Undertaker front flip kind of thing, but obviously his own version. So I just didn't like that. I didn't like that he's like, oh, I can do this extravagant, really intensive stuff with my knees, and then I get up and my knee gives out. You know what I mean? I didn't really like that, but that's maybe a minor thing. And then you go to commercial after that. You come back from commercial. He's trying to walk his leg off outside. Dawkins is inside working. Here's another issue. They showed a Rumble promo after coming back from commercial. So they go to commercial, they come back from commercial, they show their Rumble advertisement, then they show the match. Why? Just have the commentator say, hey, welcome back to Smackdown. Just a reminder, Rumble's 3 weeks away. You don't have to show the whole advertisement because, again, it breaks up the flow of the match. When you start a segment and then go to commercial and you come back and you're showing something else, it just breaks up the natural flow of the segment and of the show. So from a production standpoint, there were a couple things I disliked, but again, it's minor issues here. There's nothing major that's been wrong with this show so far. It's just minor things. And then there was a point where Dawkins was trying to tag in Montez. Rude comes around, drops him down from the apron. Montez fights back, throws him into the barricade, drinks from the solo cup, kind of hulks up a little bit, I guess you could say. He's stomping his leg out because he's like, okay, he's got that adrenaline, so like the adrenaline's kicking in, the pain, it's still there, but obviously adrenaline makes you feel pain less, so it makes sense that, he's getting hulked up, he's getting that adrenaline, he's good to go for a little bit until it wears off and then the pain gets really, you know what I I mean? So he tags in. He has a hot tag against Dolph. Rude comes in after Dolph works him over a bit. He gets the fisherman suplex. Montez kicks out. He goes for the Rude DDT, the glorious DDT. And then Montez reverses it. The finish of the match was actually really cool. I really, really liked it. And I think it's just a testament to Dolph being very versatile in wrestling, because he's had like a good tag team finisher with everybody. The finish is Rude's DDT. Bobby Roode's, or Robert Roode, I guess. He's using Robert Roode right now. Robert Roode's spine buster, which is an incredible spine buster, into the zigzag. It's a beautiful finish. It's a beautiful finishing move. So that's great. The Dirty Dogs win the titles, and then they have a post-match attack as well. I like the match. The match was great, apart from that dive spot, which I didn't really like, but I think that's a personal thing. I think maybe a lot of people probably looked at that and they were like, oh, no, that's okay. That's not a big deal. It's just me personally. I kind of want people, especially if it's something that you need to move, you need to sell it better. You know, you can't just be like, oh, I need to do this spot, so I'm going to stop selling and then sell before and after. You know what I mean? Without logic. Because like when he hulks up and he's, hyped up for the hot tag, that makes sense. The adrenaline's pumping. You know what I mean? So he can like go for a little bit. Ziggler, in the lead up to the finish, he did a nasty chop block, which looked great. So I just wanted to point that out again. I really like the match. The match quality itself was really good. I like the titles being on Rude and Ziggler. I think they're a good pairing. I think that they cut good promos. I think both of them are guys who are underutilized, or maybe not Dolph anymore, because the boat has kind of, passed on Dolph. He had his time in 2012, 2013, 2014, around that time, where he was not white hot, but like he was hot. The crowd were behind him. They gave him that Money in the Bank win. He cashed it on Del Rio. He won the title. Everybody was dope. And then he got the concussion, right? And then him getting the concussion kind of like made them not trust him anymore. Then he got kind of put into the mid card, and then lower mid card, and then tag team. And then he's just kind of been floating since then. Floating and being the guy who puts over new arrivals to the roster, right? So I'm happy that Dolph is getting a title run in the tag team. I'm happy that Robert Roode is getting something. I saw somebody tweet on Twitter that Robert Roode is one of those prime examples of guys you look at and you're like, why did Vince not put a world title on him? Because he has everything you need to be that single star. You know what I mean? Preferably as a heel. I think he's a much better heel. But at least he has a tag team title. The story leading up to it was good. They have, profits are protected to a degree because of the Montez leg injury, so they're not at 100%. So they have a valid claim to a rematch if they want to go there. The tag division still probably needs a little bit of help on SmackDown. They're building up Gable and Otis, though. So maybe eventually they win the tag titles down the line before they hopefully kind of split them up and have Chad do his own big thing after turning heel on Otis or something like that. But that's like way down the line, I think. So yeah, I'm really happy that Rude and Ziggler won the titles. I'm a fan of both. The match was great. Other than that one tope spot that I didn't like and the production part of the Royal Rumble advertisement, other than that stuff, I thought that it was a great part of the show. So once again, SmackDown is going strong, brother. They're killing it recently. So yeah, once again though, that finishing move, the spine buster into the zigzag, looked great. It was great. And then the post-match beatdown obviously gets some heat for Rude and Ziggler, the Dirty Dogs, of course. And once again, they have an easy way into a rematch because Montez was not at 100%. So yeah, good stuff. Then you cut to the back with Pierce and Sonia Deville talking about what they're going to do with the tag titles, coincidentally. I think Sonia brings up Gable and Otis as an option, and Pierce saying, hey, Profits are going to want a rematch. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. Paul Heyman walks in, asks for privacy. Sonia's like, all right, chill. I'm a peace out. Paul tries to goad Adam Pearce into competing by bringing up Scrap Daddy Adam Pearce and his, history as a wrestler prior to this. And then Paul eventually brings out that he pulled a few strings and he got Adam Pearce inserted into the gauntlet match courtesy of Roman Reigns. So you already know where this is going. And I'm in a WhatsApp group with some friends that we talk about wrestling. A lot of them didn't like what was happening. I really liked what they ended up doing. And we'll get to it in a little bit because there's one little segment here in a second that I'll talk about, and then we'll get to the main event. But so Adam Pearce is part of the main event. He's in the gauntlet match. Perfect. I like the detail of Paul saying he pulled a few strings courtesy of Roman Reigns, because it's not like Paul was just like, hey, I'm going to get your ass beat for you. It's Roman told Paul what to do and Paul obliges. So it again elevates Roman into being that all powerful. It's kind of like a mafia thing. Like he's kind of like the leader of the mafia. And like throughout the night, you kind of have a gradual sense on Adam Pearce's face of him being like, I have no power. I'm a cog in the machine. Roman runs shit. And that gets realized fully later on. So I thought it was a great kind of continuous story being told throughout SmackDown as like the backbone of SmackDown this week. So I thought that was really well done. We cut to a backstage promo segment with Riot Squad and Billie Kay. Liv and Ruby are talking backstage. Billie Kay shows up. She's like, that was a great win last week, huh, guys? Now, what do you think about putting this duo back into a squad and adding me in? Ruby's like, listen, Billie, thank you, but no thank you. Billie starts crying, like fake crying, obviously. She's like, wow, 2021 was supposed to be my year after an awful 2020, and now you guys don't want me like this. And Liv's like, no, listen, it's not that we don't want you here to be like, hey, it's kind of like that letting you down softly. Like, no, it's not we don't want you. It's just we can't have you. But before she can continue, Billie Kay takes that as, okay, you're in. She's like, okay, perfect. I'm in. All right. See, I can be punk. I can be edgy. I've been listening to some Blink 182 and I've just added mosh pitting to my resume, and hands them the resume and walks off. And then Liv's like, what'd you want me to say? When Ruby looked at her with disappointment. And then Ruby's like, oh, and she actually put mosh pitting on there. Great. Fantastic. So Billie Kay continues to be a highlight. Hopefully, Billie Kay has that character work that makes people want to see her. So hopefully that, in conjunction with the Riot Squad, helps elevate the Riot Squad, because Billie Kay is going to elevate herself no matter what she does. She's one of those people where if you give her a crumb, she turns it into a whole dinner kind of thing. She's going to take what you give her in the script and just, make the most out of it all the time. That's the type of person she is. So hopefully with her accompanying, Riot Squad, hopefully all three of them get elevated by this, because Billie Kay will, no matter what. She's going to do her best to elevate herself already, because she knocks everything out of the park. She does better with stuff than you. Because if you would have told me that like they would have given somebody a resume gimmick where they walk around being like, hey, here's my resume, hire me. One, you're like, okay, that's not that great. And two, you're like, if anybody can make it work, there's only a select few. Billie's one of those. So it's great that they gave her that gimmick, because she can elevate anything. So, yeah. Hopefully the Riot Squad get elevated along with her, because she's going to get elevated by this no matter what. At least in the eyes of the fans. Maybe management doesn't like fully support it, and maybe it doesn't really go anywhere, because that's WWE. But yeah, no, Billie Kay's great. Riot Squad are great. Hopefully all of them benefit from this. And then we had the gauntlet match. Ray was number 1 and Sammy was coming in at number 2. Now, Sammy tells the production team, I guess, to cut his music as he's making his entrance, and you can see a camera crew, a very small camera crew, 2 people filming him as he's cutting a promo, and he's talking about, he's complaining, right, because he's like, oh, once I heard that there was a gauntlet match, I demanded to be put in it for a shot at the WWE Championship, and, just coincidentally, I'm number 1, and it seems like there's been a lot of coincidences with me lately, and this and that and this and that. And then he talks about his conspiracy theory that caused him to lose the Intercontinental Championship. Right. And he says that he has his film crew there to document, and document the conspiracy against him. And he says they're unbiased. They're not, paid people like the WWE crew, and then he points directly to the camera on him. He's like, yeah, you, which was a great touch. And then he talks about how he is still Intercontinental Champion. He doesn't have the hardware to prove it, but he is still the People's Champion. I love Sami Zayn. Dude's knocking it out of the park. Give him as much promo time as he wants every week, and just let him cut promos. The dude's fantastic. Now, at the start of the match, Sammy's eliminated immediately because Ray's waiting for him. Sammy gets in, and he's making sure to the camera crew to film this. So he turns around, gets kicked into the ropes for the 619. Boom, boom, boom. 1, 2, 3. Sammy's immediately eliminated, and then comes out Shinsuke next. Shinsuke and Ray are given some time, and they I would love to see a Shinsuke and Ray singles feud at some point in the future. Give them a few big matches. And just let them work, because the time that they got in the gauntlet was great. Shinsuke ends up submitting Ray with the armbar to move on. Corbin comes out next. Corbin attacks Dominic on the outside and then gets in the ring. And then we cut to commercial. And when we come back, there's no resolution to that. So maybe they'll resolve it next week. But Baron just kind of attacks Dominic for no reason, just because he's there. And then he comes in the ring. Then they have Corbin and Shinsuke wrestle, which was good as well. I think a lot of people don't like Corbin that much. I'm a big fan of Corbin. I've been a big fan of Corbin since his first match I saw. So that one of the very early takeovers, maybe Fatal 4-Way, maybe one before that. But I think he made his takeover debut on one of those. And I immediately was a fan of him since then. I'm like, okay, yeah, he's limited, but he's got a great look. His signature moves are great. With time, this dude could really blossom into a really useful kind of big man wrestler on the roster. And I think he's doing that continuously. So he's really developing into a really valuable asset, I think, for the WWE. And he had some good time in there with Shinsuke. The finish to those two's part of the match was Baron does his corner baseball slide kind of thing, where he goes out for one side of the corner post and then he comes in the other side. But this time, usually when he goes in, he goes out, he gets people with a clothesline or just a forearm attack or something. I can't really remember. But this time he runs into a Kinshasa or a knee to the face or whatever you want to call it from Shinsuke. And 1, 2, 3. Shinsuke has 2 clean wins in a row. Another thing I will say about Baron Corbin is I think he's a lot better of a seller than a lot of people give him credit for. The way he sold getting hit with that Kinshasa upon coming back in the ring, he looked like he was knocked out cold, and he obviously wasn't, but the way that he sold it, the way that he glazed over his eyes, the way that he rolled his eyes he just really sold getting kind of knocked unconscious by the Kinshasa. So I thought that was really good. So credit to Baron Corbin for losing very well in that match. And then next up was Bryan. We had Bryan and Shinsuke for a bit. Obviously, those two are great. There was some really good technical wrestling there, some really good submission transitions. Shinsuke going for an armbar. It gets reversed. Then, Bryan goes for the armbar. Bryan transitions the armbar into the yes lock, into something else. Shinsuke gets to the ropes. Really good technical wrestling stuff. Really good ground-based stuff. Really, really good. There was a bridge German supla bebe from Bryan to Shinsuke that looked fucking incredible. It looked like he just stacked him on his neck. It was insane. So that was really cool. And then what I thought they were going to do, because they're obviously hinting through the main programming and Talking Smack, they're hinting at having Roman versus Bryan at some point down the line. So what I thought that they would do was have Bryan win and then have Roman and Jay, screw Bryan to give Pierce the win, and then they could have that kind of happen at Mania or Fastlane or something like that, or Elimination Chamber, sorry. And then, because obviously the stuff with Kevin Owens can't be done, so Kevin Owens is definitely going to come back eventually. So I think they'll probably do Kevin Owens and him at the Rumble, and then all that other stuff. But I thought that they were going to do Bryan beat Shinsuke, and then, Roman screws them. That way they have a very easy in with Bryan to get back to Roman. He'll be like, hey, I would have won that match, but you inserted him in. I had won the original incarnation of that match, and then blah blah blah, whatever. They had an easy in. They didn't do that. They put Shinsuke over big by giving him 3 clean wins in a row against Rey Mysterio, a legend, Baron Corbin, a pretty high up guy on the roster, and then Brian, a main event guy. So maybe they're gonna actually give Shinsuke a big push, which would be really really nice because Shinsuke is fantastic. So it would be really nice to give him something valuable and something, a really, really good program in the main event. But of course, that is not the end of the match. Adam Pearce comes out. Well, first of all, Roman and Jay and Paul come out with Roman's theme. Brian lifts up Shinsuke because they're both tired, and he shakes his hand, and they have a handshake, so that's good. Hopefully they turn... The way Shinsuke wrestled was kind of like face Shinsuke, so maybe they're going to turn him face again. That'd be cool. Give him... Because he kind of needs to be face, because I think they're going to do him and Roman, because they have an in with him and Roman as well, because Shinsuke, when he won the Rumble in 2018... When he won the Rumble in 2018, the last 3 were Shinsuke, Cena, and Roman, and he eliminated both, right? I know he eliminated Roman for sure. So he has an in with Roman as well, because he can go out and cut a promo and say, I know why Roman, attacked me so I would lose the gauntlet. It's because I've eliminated him in the Rumble before, and he's scared that I would beat the title. Then Roman comes out, oh, you disrespect me, my family, my whatever. Boom, you have an easy in to setting up a match and a short program with those two. So I think maybe they're building up Shinsuke so they can do that, because Shinsuke and Roman would have a great match, singles match. That would be really good. So they had, obviously they had Roman's music. They stayed at the top of the ramp, and then they come down and all that shit. Commercial, then you come back. Adam Pearce is coming down. Adam Pearce, as he's walking down the ring, he's like, guys, is this really necessary? Like, I'm not a wrestler anymore. I haven't wrestled in 6 years. The commentary are putting over, like, that's not what he does. He's management now. He comes to work in a suit, not in wrestling boots. Then, as Adam Pearce is like, well, do I get in the ring? Whatever. Roman instructs Jay to get in the ring. Jay starts shit-talking Shinsuke. Him and Roman beat down Shinsuke a bit. Then Pearce gets in the ring. Jay super kicks Pearce, puts him on Shinsuke. 1, 2, 3. Adam Pearce wins the gauntlet. Adam Pearce is the number 1 contender for the WWE Championship. And before all this happens, as they're like walking down the ramp, and as Pearce is waiting to get in the ring and waiting to be instructed, whatever. Well, I should back up. After they beat down Shinsuke, Roman gets out of the ring, and he tells Pearce, like, hey, we do whatever I want, okay? I run this show. I employ you. You do what I say, kind of thing. So putting over again that Roman has essentially absolute power on SmackDown, which is great. So they did that really well. Then, of course, they get in super kick to Pearce because he doesn't really want to do anything. They lay him on Pearce. The ref's like, I can't count this. I can't count this. Roman's like, count it. And then 1, 2, 3, boom, Adam Pearce. Show ends on, I think Roman was holding his title, and that's how the closing image of the show was. So that was really good. Like I said, I don't know the general perception of this, because I can see how it would be perceived poorly, because you have a management figure winning a number 1 contendership. Some people might be like, oh, this devalues the championship, whatever. At face value, sure. If you just look at results on like paper and just be like, oh, Adam Pearce wins gauntlet match number 1 contender, and you don't watch the show at all. You don't watch, a recap of the show. You don't listen to anything. You don't read anything describing the show, like a transcript of the show. You don't do anything. You just look at the match card and the results. Yeah, you might look at it and be like, what the fuck are they doing? A management figure beat whatever? But then you look at the show and you see the story they're telling, and I think it's fantastic. Because what I think they're going to do, because they can't conceivably have, am I using conceivably right? I don't know. It would not make a fucking lick of sense for them to have Adam Pearce versus Roman Reigns for the title at the Rumble. That doesn't make any sense, not one bit. So I don't think that's what they're going to do. I think what they're going to do is give Adam Pearce a match with Jay next week, have Jay get a win because he needs a win. Jay needs a win. It's not a very valuable win because it's not against a top-level opponent, but Jay needs a win in his column because his win-loss record is shit. He's lost a bunch of matches recently, so they need to give him a win, regardless of whether or not it's a retired wrestler in Adam Pearce, who's now management, right? I think they're going to do him and Pearce next week, Jay and Pearce singles, as kind of like Roman being like, listen, obviously, you haven't wrestled in 6 years. I'm not going to throw you in the deep end against me immediately. I'll give you a week to prepare. Hell, I'll give you a warm-up match against Jey Uso. So they do that. And then the week after, they'll do the title match with Pearce and Roman. Roman beats the fuck out of Pearce. 1, 2, 3 wins the match, and then continues the beatdown after. Kevin Owens returns for the save against Adam Pearce, and then they could have a promo between Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns at the go-home, and then they do Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns again at the go-home, give Roman a clean win maybe this time, and then they can move on from Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns, and then they can go to Elimination Chamber and do Roman and Shinsuke, or if they want to do an Elimination Chamber match for the SmackDown Championship, they could do that. That wouldn't really make too much sense though, because with Roman having absolute power, he wouldn't put himself in that match, and with him being able to control any management figure, he wouldn't allow them to put him in a match where the odds are so stacked against him. So I don't think it makes logical sense with the story that they're telling with Roman to have an Elimination Chamber match for the WWE Championship. So I think they'll just do a singles with Shinsuke, and then I think maybe they might just give Bryan the Rumble win. I think I said it last week or the week before. I think, Bryan's coming near the end of his in-ring career. He said he's going to go part-time with his new contract. Maybe if Bryan's like, hey, can I win the Rumble just so I can say I've won it? I've done a lot in my career. I'd really love if you guys did me this favor. Maybe they give him the Rumble, then they do Bryan and Roman at WrestleMania. Whatever. But I think maybe they'll do Shinsuke at Elimination Chamber and then save Bryan for the Mania match, because I really enjoyed SmackDown. I thought it was really good. I think maybe like an 8 out of 10, maybe a 9, pushing a 9, but definitely an 8 out of 10, I think. There was no big flaws for me. Granted, again, I can see where people could come from with the whole WWE title gauntlet thing with Roman and all that, and it devaluing the championship, but I don't think it does at all. It just elevates Roman more. It puts over that he's the absolute power. He's running SmackDown. He's put himself in such a powerful position. It just elevates Roman as the final boss of SmackDown, pretty much. So I think that they're doing a great job with the Roman stuff. I think SmackDown itself was great. A couple nitpicking things here and there, like production things of promos being put in between entrances and advertisements. A little thing with Montez doing the tope while selling the knee before and after doing the tope, but not during the action of the tope. So a couple small issues that I had with SmackDown, but overall a really, really good show. SmackDown's been consistently really good since I've started watching again, so hopefully that they can keep that up, because Raw, like I said at the beginning, is a very mixed bag, and it is not as enjoyable to review and watch week after week. I think the extra hour really hinders Raw as well. SmackDown just has the 2 hours, of course, so it's easier for them to have a more balanced show, timing it better and stuff like that. With Raw, you kind of have to stretch things out a bit, and it kind of makes things a little bit shit. But really good, really, really good episode of SmackDown. I think, like I said, 8 out of 10 for sure, maybe pushing 9 out of 10, but I think I'd stay around 8 out of 10, maybe 8.5, but between 8 and 9. But 8 minimum, maybe 8.5. I don't know, in that range, like I said. I really enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys thought down in the comments of SmackDown. Do you agree with my rating of the show overall? Do you disagree? Do you agree with certain points or disagree with certain points? Let me know down in the comments. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like. If you guys would like to check out some more of my content, I do gameplay stuff on the channel as well, so you can check out a link to my SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 GM mode series, which the finale of the WrestleMania episode is coming out this Sunday. So You can go check that out in the end cards. There will be a link to that playlist, as well as a link to my WWE 2K14 30 Years of WrestleMania, I think, as well. I'm also doing some other gameplay stuff, so go check that out. Follow me on Twitter, link in the description. Please sponsor me, Peace Tea, of course. Be sure to turn on notifications so you never miss an episode, because YouTube likes to zuck your boy and not put my videos in your sub boxes. So by pressing that nice old bell icon, you will get a push notification anytime I do upload. You'll never have to miss it. Like I said at the beginning, if you guys would like to support me and the channel, you can check out the link to my Patreon, first link in the description. And yeah, if you guys enjoy the video, please leave a like, subscribe, share it to all your friends, comment down below, all that good shit, and I'll see you guys next time.
We are number one.